Okay, guys, time to talk about 5.3, which is actually, I don't know, it's better and it's worse. Um, I'm just gonna use arena footage because I'm too lazy to do a BG, and that's pretty much all I've been doing. I think all of them are LE, Monk, Disc, which is actually really fun and not that good of a comp. Uh, I'm not even gonna bother reading the patch notes. You just know Pharaoh Druids got ridiculous from their already really retarded point. And before people start complaining, I don't think Pharaohs are stupid for their damage. I think they're stupid for being able to get out of roots and slows indefinitely, and also being immune to polymorph. And then that can happen sometimes because he doesn't bubble. But Symbiosis is also dumb. Um, Adding more damage just seems to make him show up literally everywhere. Uh, so Pharaoh Druids, Enhancement Shamans got buffed randomly, although they got the worst possible buff. They buffed Ascendance. Ascendance was already like one of the most terrifying cooldowns in the game. They didn't need to buff it. They need to buff everything else about Enhancement Shamans because pretty much the rest of their kit is pretty bad at this point. A lot of it's really old, like I don't know. And BC and Wrath being able to throw a Capacitor Totem might have been a useful ability, but these days it's just like, cool, you have an AoE stun that's not consistent. I have two, and they're way more consistent. So it's like, Enhancement Shaman's kit doesn't seem to fit the buffs they got, which is a little weird to me. But whatever, I don't quite understand why they did that either. And then Hunters. I don't know why they make it Blink Strike. They took it away to nerf like Kill Command Blink Strike, just doing all of your health and damage and kind of do their burst. Except, for what I've noticed, that's not actually what happens. All the Blink Strike buff did was make the pet entirely unpeelable instead of, if you really needed to, you could CC it, I guess. But now it's just like entirely unpeelable. And Blink Strike to happen like every 4 seconds or something. Or like 6, I don't know. It's just so much more frequent. It used to hit for 20, or not 20, like 60k whenever you used it every 20 seconds or so, which was, scary when you combine it with a power shot or a glaive toss and kill command and all sorts of other stuff in BM, but now it's just like hunters do retarded damage the entire time. So also, what the hell, I'm guessing it's sack. I don't see a sack though. Yeah, I don't know what broke that perilous. It's been breaking a lot recently to nothing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. That seems to be happening. But what I think is, Enhancement Shamans, Feral Druids, and possibly Ret Paladins, although, honestly, I don't think Ret Paladins are as overpowered as I think they are, simply because they can bop off my Karma on anyone, so my major defensive is just non-existent, so it's sort of natural that I would be pretty bad against a Ret Paladin. So it could be mostly the fact that Ret Paladins counter me as opposed to them actually being really good, but they seem really strong. Enhancement Shamans seem really strong. Hunters seem even stronger than they were to begin with, which is a little confusing to me because I thought they were getting nerfed. And then Feral Druids are out of control. Monks may be in that list. I hit really hard now. I got 10% damage, and when we were fighting Yipz yesterday, I was literally turning off 120k Rising Sun kicks. Like every 20 seconds, something would just be like 120k and he'd lose a chunk of his health. I think he said I was doing like 25, 26k DPS in an arena match where I'm getting like charge stunned, Feral Druid rooted, he has bark skin up, things like that, which is really high damage. I'm not doing it to this guy, I don't know why, but I was hitting Yipz really hard. So I'm not entirely sure on where everything lies, but damage seems really high. Monks could be in my list of what's really overpowered because it definitely feels like it's a possibility. Damn, I missed my Ring of Peace silence. It's also really funny that you can just sort of cleave Ring of Peace now. I'm trying to think of what else changed. I haven't played it enough to really be able to say like too much about it. Wizards still seem good. I really want to try Monk, Warlock, Shaman more. I did a couple games with Giants and some Shaman, I don't remember his name. But we didn't have Skype, so I didn't bother recording them. Otherwise, I'd put them up here, which would have been perfect for this. I should have. But that comp was really fun. We went to like 2300 without Skype, so I'm assuming we could do good things with that comp, but yeah. I don't know, I want to try it more. Shadow Priest got nerfed. Good Shadow Priests are still seen. Like, Krill is still terrifying to fight. I don't feel like their nerf made them incredibly bad. It just made them play a lot better. Like, you have to have like a healer mindset almost with them to see the swaps coming and already have a shield, a renew, and a palm on them, as opposed to like, oh no, I did it late and it got purged instantly or something like that, and having the life swap. So, or stop the CC, which is a little tricky. I don't know. I hated MD with a passion, but I also recognize that priests have to run into melee range to fear, kind of, and then have a 45-second cooldown on their science to actually be able to stop a lot of the CC. So, it's kind of a trade-off there. I feel like it was entirely justified, but I think they probably should have gotten a little thing in return and maybe some less damage. I'm not sure if this is my last game. I'll keep talking if it's not. It's not fade to the next one. What's going on? Oh, there we go. Okay. DKs didn't get nerfed enough. I see them in Holy Presence now, which is nice, but I don't think any class should be at the point where an orc would go, I don't need a PvP trinket. No class should have that many escapes. There should be some incentive to make them want to take a PvP trinket, although there is with disarms and roots. People don't really trinket those anyway. You get dispelled or freedomed or whatever. You just sit the disarm and do your other damage. So, I don't know. I feel like something needs to be done to force DKs to use a trinket again, especially if they're horde, because a lot of them actually do that, and it's really dumb. Yeah. I'm not quite sure why that's a thing. It is, though, and they really hurt with double trinket. Mages are doing it, too, to some extent, and so are warlocks. Something needs to be done about that. I really feel like it should be required to have a PvP trinket. There shouldn't be that many escapes. The only time, other than this, that it was, like, viable, and even then it wasn't viable that long, was, like, bugged trinkets. The one that turns you into a dragon from Season 9, for a while, was bugged and you could use it with on use, and they both gave, like, absurd amounts of strength, and you'd go up to, like, 80k slams on people with 120k health, which, obviously, is probably worth it. But that's, like, a bugged trinket. That's so far over the top. It's not like that's actually what you should be doing. It's like you're a dick. For a DK, it's actually what you should be doing is just using double trinket. So, I don't know. I feel like something needs to be done about that, and a little bit needs to be done about like the hybrid melees. And I may be included in that list, although I feel really squishy and my burst at least has built up. But yeah, damage is really high. I actually like the pace it's going though. Anyway, I'm just gonna end with like one quick recap. I like the way the game has slowed down slightly. I think it's theoretically at a good point. I just feel like certain classes are exceptions to that rule, like Feral Druids, Enhancement Shamans, Rep Pallies, possibly Monks, are all like an exception to that rule. Granted, I'm just going to explain one thing about Monks. I hit 120k Rising Sun kicks on people with like 3 stacks. I never really hold off for 10. If I hold off for 10 and I got a Rising Sun crit, I'm guessing that damage would be actually retarded. Nor am I using like whatever the trinket is, Rune of Origination, which could make it even higher. You make it like 250k. Easy. So, I feel like the game's at a good pace, just some of the classes don't get to follow that pace. So I think those need to be looked at, myself included, just so people don't think I'm one-sided. And that's it. Thanks for watching.